is Kalila, aka Kay Chapman, and I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I am a full-time realtor at Keller Williams, Port St. Lucie, and I specialize in probate, so I am a certified probate expert.
My name is Marlon Brammer. I'm from the Brammer firm. I'm the principal and founding partner for the Brammer firm. We are located in Boca Raton, Florida, and we practice in the areas of estate planning, business, and real estate.
Having an estate plan means that you have all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed, and your family know exactly what your wishes are.
Everyone eventually will have to deal with the need to consider their bounty, how they're going to handle their issues, whether or not they currently have assets or not. It's important for everyone to consider putting together a plan, or the state will have to put one in place for you.
My name is Carolyn James. Walter D. James Sr. was my husband for 42 years.
I am Walter Daughtry James Jr.
My name is Renee James Burgess.
My name is Michael Devon James.
It is a very big name to have, very big weight to carry.
He migrated down here to South Florida very early on. He came from a very large family from Richmond, Virginia. Before he moved here, he moved to Sumter, South Carolina, where he lived with one of his sisters and a grandmother that raised him. Late teens, he moved down to South Florida, picking strawberries, started having relationships and babies.
I was walking down the street going to my cousin's house, and he was visiting my cousin because they were friends. So he saw me walking down the street, and he asked my cousin, "Who is that young lady there?" And so my cousin, Loretta, said, "That's my cousin." So he kept on persisting, and I would say, no. So he pursued me for almost a year. And so I finally gave in. For 42 years, you got to learn how to understand each other. If you pay attention to everything in your marriage or your relationship, I don't think you'll be successful being married that long as I have been.
2020 Beautiful, apartment 2, right? It was a 2-bedroom apartment with 2 adults and 4 kids. So because we only had 2 bedrooms, you had the 2 girls in one set of bunk beds and the 2 boys in the other set of bunk beds.
And growing up there, I remember it being fun, like a lot of memories.
It was a wonderful time at that time.
It was a blended family with me being my mother's oldest.
That's when I was happy the most. Happy things. We had beautiful Christmas, and it's a lot of fun. The children was awesome.
Every Friday night we got to eat out. You know, that was our thing. We know that we were gonna get takeout.
Just I remember being him being a younger man, and just the way he used to always get dressed up, looking nice and sporty.
Very white. I love the Barry White. I love that voice. Oh my God. Oh, that was baby making music. We had lots of kids. We had a Brady Bunch family.
Nobody sleeps. Everybody has to get it. Even my mom, everybody. It was no favoritism like, hey, when I'm up, you up.
He would wake up and get dressed for work, and he used to wear his overalls. So to me, that was, from the very beginning, a sign of a hardworking man.
He was a people's person, people loved him, and he always had like this professional voice.
Carol made sure that, he tried to have some fun in between all the hard work.
He was a good father. He always made sure for his children.
The year that he gathered everybody up and took us to Busch Gardens, it sounded like a fun trip, but that was also a difficult trip.
The stern side, he wanted to make sure you did the right thing.
I wouldn't say he was strict, but he did try to guide us with a set of values.
That was during the time our families were integrating. That experience helped me because I'm a stepfather now.
Hard work, getting an education, and being respectful.
Even if he's yelling at you, it's going to be in proper form. But he had people that he mentored that looked up to him, that counted on him. He was just a very reliable person.
When you're young, you kind of think about it and you're like, oh man, this is freaking aggravating, and you get frustrated with it. But you know, as you get older, you see what it's for.
This is the reason I get up in the morning to make sure I'm able to do the things to take care of my family and even the extended family. People could always count on him. I saw the looks on people's faces when they saw him, when they met him, when they see that truck coming down, they knew it was him.
He was a drama-free guy that tended to his family and stayed out of other people's business.
It was just him. It was the person that he was.
At my job, I'm one of the first people there every morning. I mean, I don't start work until 8, but I have to be in the gate by at least 7 o'clock. A lot of life lessons, actually things that I still live by.
He was a great man.
My first hero, one of the first people I ever looked up to.
It's important for us to make sure that we're not only productive while we're alive, but ensure that once we're gone, there's a process that would automatically or seamlessly pass these assets on to the next generation, thereby creating generational wealth.
All we thought about was working and taking care of our kids, just working. We didn't never think about estate planning for our future and our kids and grandkids.
I think the problem isn't mostly about age. It's mostly, or even class. I think it's mostly about education, a lack of education.
It started back in 2017 when our dad became ill and we found out he was diagnosed with colon cancer. And we asked him if he had an estate plan in order, and he said, I'll get back to you.
Yes, you should have assets. You should secure assets, but ensuring that those assets are titled properly is the key advantage in making sure that the wealth is transferred to the next generation. If I hold on to my assets in my name and my name only, those assets can be subject to probate.
Probate really costs a lot of money. It's very expensive. And to date, I have a client right now that have spent over $80,000 being in probate. So that's tapping into the equity of the home that they're looking to inherit.
Once we've got an inventory of what we own, and once we've got an idea of what we're about to acquire, right, we want to make sure that we develop that framework. And it might look like something like creating a trust that has nothing in it, right, until we're ready to put stuff in it.
In the middle of probate, I also found out that they never finished paying for the funeral expenses. And so we could not even sell the property until the funeral expenses were paid.
The probate process favors creditors, right? It's ensured to make sure that all the assets are back into the stream of commerce and, doing what they're supposed to do. We can't have properties tied up for years, for forever. So we want to make sure that the properties are back into the stream of commerce and creditors are taken care of.
I recommend families to start having those conversations about estate planning, about having a will, at the very least. And the holidays are coming up, and that's the prime time to begin those conversations.
My family had thousands and thousands of acres, and to this day I can't lay a finger on one of that. That's because of the problem I just presented.
We just don't want to be out here living life, not understanding what we're doing, not planning, not understanding how to build wealth. There are different ways that we can build wealth, and it's important to have life insurance. It's important to have a financial advisor. It's important to have an attorney and know exactly who these key players are in your life, as you're managing through your business, because once you leave here with no clear instructions, that's it.
I'm sure if he could he'd have left us the world, you know.
When he passed, it kind of eat me up every day.
When we started having those conversations, when we found out he was sick, it was tough, because those are conversations that people don't like to have, people don't want to have, people don't like to think about.
I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I think our family has ever had.
He did not have an estate plan. That was something that we did not talk about as a family early on before he became sick.
He did not want to talk about it. It was always something he put aside, and we'll talk about it another time.
Which I can understand now, when you're realizing you're in the final stages of life. That could be a very difficult conversation to have, with your loved ones.
We were not clear on his healthcare directives.
Knowing him and everyone that knows him, strong, stubborn-head person. Don't worry about it.
It was difficult because, we were not able to do what we wanted to do and honor him in a way that we felt he should be honored.
And we had to make decisions, as a family. And it affected my mom, who just was not clear, on his exact wishes.
I go in dark places sometimes because I miss him. Then I have to think about the Lord, and it's like, Lord God, he's in a better place.
The best time to have those type of conversations is when you're happy and healthy. And so that way it's not as difficult on the person as well as the family members.
It was understood. I mean, it was, like all families that live in our tax bracket, things are difficult. We should get the health insurance, talk about health issues, health concerns for not just our future, but our family's future. And the generations following us, we should be working to ensure that we are doing things like this estate planning, because it's important to be able to think about and know that your family is taken care of once we're no longer here.
It's a lot that me and my husband didn't pay attention to. I felt like, oh God, it's too late. But it's never too late.
I didn't understand what an estate plan was. I never thought about it. Estate plan, will, probate, these type of terms, I didn't know what they were.
Okay, if we make this decision, would he have been in line with it, Not knowing that sometimes can be very difficult. So I would say that's one of the important things, as, knowing what their wishes are so that you could honor those wishes.
Don't let your life get tied up where you don't pay attention to these things. I had to do a power of attorney for my mother because stuff wasn't put in place for her as well. So I had to take the initiative to do that for her.
We don't need to be on the side of the road selling fish fries. We don't need to be on the side of the road asking other people for money to try to bury your loved one.
So once you get that knowledge, you have to act on it. You can't wait.
Not having them in place is almost like a second tragedy, because the first tragedy is losing him or losing the person that you love. Then the second tragedy is like they might want something, you may not be able to do it.
And I do appreciate, going through this journey with my family so that we can embrace and learn this together and be able to share our experiences with other families so they can propel forward.
It's a major lesson, and it's a lesson that you live because you think about him every day.
Family is very important. God is first, and then your family is next.
I keep him near and dear to my heart. And of course, a loved one is never gone because they live on in our memories and in our hearts. And that's one of the ways that we keep his legacy alive. We celebrate him.
I think one of the things that keeping his legacy going is what we're doing right now, talking about it. spreading the word to other people because they don't know.
We have fun, we talk about it, and we remember our childhood. We laugh and joke about it.
And we can see a truck on the road with a tar pot attached to the back and, think about our dad.
He was a great man. Nobody's perfect, but I don't need perfect.
But one thing holds true, it's all about his family and taking care of his family and making sure that we had the things that we needed.
He really truly loved me.
And that is a legacy that I want to leave for my children, making sure that I'm getting them their needs and then able to, and every time something comes up, about Pop saying, you're a big boy, you can handle it. I'm just in that little mantra's in the back of my mind. I can handle this. I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
In 20 years, what I would like to see, we have more families with an estate plan that have a trust and not just wills, because wills are probated. And we have families that actually have built millions of dollars and they're able to inherit the wealth that is given to them. So my goal is for millennials and Gen Zers that are inheriting all of this wealth, for them to understand that this is important. It's a big responsibility and they need to know what to do with it.